we're entering into this meditation, continuing in our effort to build an awareness of self-compassion and to be able to direct that at ourselves. So as before, find a comfortable place to sit or to lie down where you feel confident that for a while you will not be disturbed and you'll be able to have some quiet to spend some time thinking and being aware of yourself. And we start the exercise by drawing our attention to our breath, wherever we notice that, in our chest or the air passing our lips or our nose, or simply even just noticing the speed of our breathing or the tension and the experience of our rib cage expanding and contracting. We just let our attention rest wherever it feels natural for us. And we do that without any ambition to control or change our breathing. We're simply learning that we can bring our attention to ourselves, we can anchor our attention in ourselves and notice our breathing, inviting our focus and our attention to be purely on us in this moment. And so just noticing your breath for a few moments. And to bring the feeling of compassion into our awareness, we're going to invite the presence of a loved one or somebody that we really value in our lives. We're going to imagine that person with us now, standing before you or sitting next to you, but really feeling that they've arrived with you. You're able to hear their voice and sense their presence in the way that you do when you know they're present, not needing to open your eyes or to look around because you're aware that they're there with you. You can feel them and hear them in the same space that you're in now. And to imagine that this friend is experiencing some suffering, some challenge in their life. This loved one is experiencing a challenge which you can understand and relate to, and you're witnessing in them distress. And allow your compassionate self to rise, the automatic response you would have with that loved one, where in that moment your emotions surface and you're there providing support, supportive words, comforting embrace, reassurance, and empathy. And notice what arrives in you and how effortlessly you are able to be compassionate and caring to this friend. And spend some time observing that reaction in yourself and perhaps remembering a time when this was true for you, when you were caring for a loved one and maybe the person you're even thinking of now. Just allow yourself to see these caring and comforting parts of you that surface when people are in need and when they're suffering, and you want to help them to take that suffering away. And with, hopefully, these emotions and these feelings present in you, and an awareness that you can feel very compassionate towards this friend and this loved one, I want you to notice that you've made a mistake and you've thought that the person with you now as this loved person, this person who's valuable to you. But in actual fact, the person near you now is you. You're observing yourself from the outside. You're seeing yourself in this distressed state, suffering some of the challenging emotions that come with this very difficult relationship breakup that you are experiencing. You're seeing a person who has been abused and mistreated and has lost their trust in themselves and in others, and has tried their best to be loved and to love, but has been wounded and damaged and lost self-confidence, and maybe is experiencing shame and fear and obligation and guilt, a whole range of emotions that make this very difficult for the person to turn up and look after themselves, to put in the effort where it's needed. And noticing this as you in whatever distressed state you're experiencing yourself in, allow yourself to keep those feelings alive that you had when you thought this was a loved one. Because the person with you now, yourself, is the person you should love the most. This is the loved one and the valued one in your life that maybe you're struggling to realize is that person. And so although it may feel difficult or unusual, allow yourself to invite the same emotions that you allowed yourself to invite when you thought this was somebody else. Realize that you are deserving of the same response, the same compassion and reassurance and embrace and support and empathy. Recognize that like others, you can be distressed, and that's just human. We can all as humans experience pain and suffering, but we need and deserve self-compassion when we experience that. And so look at yourself in this distressed state and provide compassion, meaningful emotions and words. Think towards yourself. I have done nothing wrong. I deserve love. The pain I am feeling is a pain that's shared by millions of people around the world who have experienced the same or similar relationships. I am doing the right thing to take space, to try and build freedom and love, but I recognize that this will include some suffering. But while I am suffering, I will try to be kind and loving to myself. So spend some time just using whatever words come naturally to you when you are supporting others, and trying to say these words to yourself. And now bring your focus back to your breathing and invite a kindness for whatever experience you just had. Whether you found it easy or difficult to feel compassion to yourself, simply recognize that it is a compassionate gift to spend time practicing trying to do that. And whether you feel the warmth of compassion or maybe even disappointment and frustration that the exercise did not quite deliver what you hoped, simply allow yourself to let go of that and realize you can return to this meditation as many times as you'd like to practice, to work on this thing that you find challenging. For millions of people, to be self-compassionate is not automatic. It has to be learned, and spending time in exercises like this and meditating and inviting that feeling and those thoughts towards ourselves is the first act of self-compassion. And so celebrate that you have done that and commit to repeating that in the future. And so now just spend time returning your focus to your breath, observing your breath, and continue that until you feel that you're ready to open your eyes and to return to your day.